What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Big Mark. I am coming to you live here on this August the 23rd at 11 a.m. Shout out to my man Bitcoin Zay. He's in the building, man. He's been kind of busy lately. You know, he's living life, got that infant, that baby girl, and he also is doing a lot of stuff, man. So good to see you again today, Zay. What's happening, man?
Oh man, glad to be back in the building. Appreciate you, Mark. Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
going
man.
on with the book tour, with the show, with with the baby, everything. But it's all good. We all in this together.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. So yeah, Zay. I know you ain't been on in a minute, but did y'all do Gentlemen of Crypto this morning?
Yep, did the Gentleman of Crypto this morning. Got some good news stories for you today. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, shout them out for us, man. What we dealing with this morning?
Oh yeah. So first things first, I want to give a shout out to everybody who attended the Gentleman of Crypto event we had here in LA at the Sky Bar. Everybody that came out Saturday. People came from Phoenix, from Seattle, from Wisconsin, flew out here. So shout out to everybody that came to that. But for our news stories for today, one of the biggest ones was Visa actually bought $150,000 CryptoPunk, which again, if you don't know the CryptoPunk assets, most of them are going for six figures now. And Visa, if you know Kai Sheffield, he helped with the Black Arts District and a few other projects as well. He has invested, or Visa has invested 150,000 in that. So along with other big companies starting to look at NFTs as a way to put their money in as an asset. So definitely big news there. Don't think NFTs are going away right now. As long as there's a demand for it, this asset will be around. So yes, that was one of our big news stories. But the biggest one today was the news that came out that 81% of financial services providers or finance execs, they believe that blockchain has gone mainstream. And for those who don't believe, that this entire industry is going mainstream right now. This report was done. 1,200 professionals based in Brazil, China, the UK, the US, South Africa, all over the world, and they actually responded. 97% said that blockchain applications are crucial for the business to stay competitive. So we're at a point now where game theory is playing out. You basically need a Bitcoin or some sort of blockchain strategy to keep your job. And that's one thing we've stressed with people in the community is that, hey, this is going to be a part of your industry, whether you like it or not. So you might as well learn now. So those are our two biggest news stories for today. Looking for some bigger ones this week as Bitcoin has crossed 50,000. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of FOMO and great things happening throughout this week. And to finish up for everybody that's watching the Gentlemen of Crypto, we are live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So you can catch us on there for more news stories as well. But shout out to all the Black Bitcoin billionaires.
Yeah, for sure, man. Make sure y'all check that out. Thanks, Zay, man. We appreciate you being back. You come in with that beautiful news feed. Yeah, I think it's crazy because this 50,000 hits a little bit different, man. Like to me, it hits a little bit
Oh,
different
yeah.
because it's that second time around. Not like the first time, you know what I'm saying? It's the second time around.
The second time
Yes,
around.
yes, sir, man. So
We cleared
it's
out
really
all the fake people.
right. Cleared out everybody who got scared, who thought what we were saying was crazy. But the whole thing is that again, we want everybody to understand, like when you getting into this space, realize that it's about accumulation. That you're trying to get as many Bitcoin as possible because in the future there won't be enough Bitcoin for you to get if you don't get it now, because people ain't gonna let it go. You know what I'm saying? So I just want y'all to understand that. And then the other part that Zay brought up, he was talking about Visa getting into the NFT space. And I think what's going on is these companies, they're starting to see other alternatives in this space to try to get down with, right? And Miss Naja, she also, you bought an NFT lately, didn't you, Miss Naja? I think it was one of the 60 Nipsies. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So that's what we see coming down the pipe, and we do a lot of education around NFTs and all of that in this platform to make sure that you're not just jumping on anything. Also, remember that at the end of the day, really what it boils down to is that this is a different way for you to be able to support the artist. And I love the fact that these artists are being able to put their artwork out there and get it supported. I don't even like from what platform it's on. At the end of the day, it don't really matter to me much because I just want them artists to get paid. Like I always say, artists get your money. I mean, they could put an NFT on a napkin. If somebody will buy it, that's hey. Get your money, man.
And
Like real.
you're absolutely right, Lamar. And let me just really quickly tell you why I bought the NFT. Of course, to support the black artists. But what he's doing is for every NFT you buy, he's actually pairing a child from the inner city with an engineer to help that child move forward in the engineering space. And so he has already identified the child that I supported and the engineer that's going to come along with that NFT that's going to help that child throughout their just trying to get them going in the whole crypto blockchain artist engineer space. So I'm excited about that. So that was one of the big pushes, the reason I did it.
Yeah, we always like to just make sure people understand. Like, I wouldn't get these NFTs as an investment. I'm gonna just be real with y'all, because if you look at a lot of them have not actually appreciated after a certain time. Now there are some that have, but of course that goes back to their networks and everything else, just like in the regular art field. So if you don't know what you're doing in the regular art game, like don't think you buying this to make a whole bunch of money off of it. Make sure you understand that you buying it to support the artist, because otherwise you mess around, put a whole bunch of money into something, and think you're gonna be able to flip it, and you be sitting out here looking like Earl. And I don't know who Earl is, but he don't seem like in this situation he's gonna be having a lot of fun. So yeah, man. But yeah, let's talk about this. The other part of what Zay said. I saw this kind of thing coming. And I want to ask the panel, what do y'all think about these so-called blockchain strategies? And do you think it's just FOMO and that these companies are trying to jump on now, or do you think that from a an asset perspective, a reserve asset perspective, that this is something that is just going to be what happens moving forward? That these companies are going to feel like they're missing out. So do you think it's FOMO, or do you think that this is actually something they're going to put their efforts into?
I
I
think most of
mean,
it is pure FOMO. As an exec, if you want to keep your job and you need a blockchain strategy, most people are just implementing something, even if it doesn't actually solve a problem. Because technically, blockchain is just a slower database. Amazon Web Services can take care of most of what you need, but the use cases for it, a lot of times, these companies they may find something small, try and build a whole project around it. But we have seen a lot of blockchain projects go away. Like after 3 years of trying to build something, I think Lamar like that, they just
Right.
stop the project because, yeah, I mean, we've seen it with companies like Blockchain Ice Tea. I mean, Long Island Ice Tea had nothing to do with blockchain. They threw it in the name, stock went up 600%. So I think a lot of it is FOMO and just throwing blockchain in there. Like, I forgot who said it. I think it was Samson. Maybe it was you, Lamar, that said it. You can't. Blockchain is a hot sauce. You can't put it on everything.
Right.
yeah, speaking specifically to the Visa NFT purchase, I feel pretty confident they spent the marketing budget on that one. You know, these companies, when they start to disconnect from what's kind of going on the street and the regular folks, they got to find a way to put their name back out there and have people talk about them. So I think 150K was a pretty cheap way for them to get a lot of people to kind of associate Visa with this space that seems to be, as they would say in Zoolander, so hot right now.
Right. I think a lot of stuff that goes on is that as you see trends, the marketing department winds up leading the way a lot of times because they just trying to get the name in the mouths of people, especially in this attention-driven society we are in right now. You got to gain attention, and what is getting a lot of attention? The whole acronym of NFT is funny to me because NFTs have been around for a very long time. We've talked about that ad nauseum in the Black Bitcoin Billionaire, but at the same time, the acronym NFT has become so hot that you want to tie everything to it. I see so many sites popping up where people got such and such that dash NFT or run around in a circle NFT. It's like it's all kinds of these sites popping up around NFTs, and I think it's just because it's hot right now and everybody's trying to catch that wave. And my whole thing is that yeah, I get it. For me, I hope that the artists continue to use this wave to continue to get paid because I am a great supporter of art, right? But at the same time, it's like I want the people who are out here looking for investments not to get too caught up in it. And from the standpoint, even blockchain, there are a lot of things you can't do on blockchain and you shouldn't want to do on blockchain. So don't think that everything you're gonna do is gonna actually work on blockchain just because it says blockchain in it and you're trying to catch some buzz. Because you'll mess around and be left wanting. Real talk. Yeah, so I guess my question is for the panel as well. As we see the rise of what's going on in Bitcoin, right? And we hear the rise of all of these other coins that are happening, things that are happening with the price in Bitcoin and the price of some of these other ones. I'm not even gonna name them on here because y'all know I don't fool with it like that. I definitely won't push them out there. Do you all think that we are in the beginning of a continuous bear market? I mean, a bull market now? Do you think we're gonna wind up having a crazy pump after this, or do you think this is a head fake? Somebody let me know.
Crazy pump in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. Typically when Bitcoin goes on these runs, it does it in three phases. And phase one was the 60K. That was phase one. Usually phase two is even bigger. So we should see a bigger move in this phase, but time will tell.
Well, and both Will Clemente and Willy Woo are indicating that on-chain metrics are essentially telling us that we are still in the bull run, and that this was just a little dip before the big run up. So
That's it.
I have a lot of faith in the on-chain metrics.
Hey, this was
Yeah.
this was Bitcoin always listened to the universe, right? So when it was at 60,000, it heard all the people crying about the price, so it chopped this price at a 50% discount and allowed people to get in. And now it's about to go back up to the moon and surpass its last all-time high. So I'm sticking around for the long run.
Here's my only hesitation is that it seems a lot of times that most people are wrong. So if everybody thinks it's going to go to 100K, then it's almost too easy, right? And the market's going to punish the overconfident for sure.
The irrational exuberance.
But that's the thing. See, I don't think it's going to 100K. I think it's going to 200K. But
Yeah,
that's another
I
story.
was about to say it's gonna go way past 100K, and then once we go back into the bear market, then we'll see it idle around that price. But the bull market is going to push it way beyond 100K.
Yeah, I've heard all kinds of numbers, man. I think we kind of getting that conference pump because there's a big Bitcoin conference happening coming this week called Bit Block Boom. And I think we're getting some of that conference pump that I always say. I don't know if we got it that much when it was in Miami, but you got to remember that wasn't like a that wasn't like a quintessential like Bitcoin conference. I guess it kind of was. It was a huge one, but from the Bit Block Boom, that's more of like Bitcoin only, steak eating. You know what I'm saying? Them kind of cats are down.
The plebs.
Nah,
Yeah,
it just so happened that that conference came around a time like when crypto kind of takes a rest. Like during those 3 months, Bitcoin just took a rest, and that's typically what it does. After a big run. So it took a rest during those times. So it just so happened the conference lined up during that particular period.
Yeah, I know we stayed, but there are probably some new people listening right now. So, how do y'all think you take advantage of this? If you really believe that Bitcoin is going to go up, how do you take advantage of it? Somebody, give some. I don't want to give advice or recommendations, but if you want to get involved, How would you get involved?
Well, I would just, this is not any financial advice, but it would just dollar cost average, taking whatever money you spend on, unnecessary things, and putting some of that into Bitcoin. Uh, to the effect to where it doesn't affect your daily financial situation. So whatever money you can spare weekly, bi-weekly, every month, every other month, just continuously to put it into Bitcoin as long as it doesn't, you know, you don't go into a financial bind. You need to definitely continue to accumulate Bitcoin as time goes on, no matter the price, if it's up or down, just continue that dollar cost average method, so you can average out your costs and accumulate as much Bitcoin as you can while you're at this range right now. Because if you wait until it's 100,000, you're gonna buy you're gonna accumulate less Bitcoin. So we would recommend you to get in now so you can get double the price. Because once it goes above 100,000, that's when you're gonna have all these news and these banks and these people telling you, "Oh, it's the greatest thing," but you could accumulate more if you would have got in now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
would
with
say
Quavo on
that
that
and
one.
the oh, go ahead, my bad.
Now I was just gonna say I'm with Quavo on that one. You should be dollar cost averaging in. And if you're not plant based, it's a good time to become plant based because you can take all the money you save on meat and put that into Bitcoin.
Man, everybody knows vegan carrot dogs are expensive. Don't do that. But I would say
Everything.
dollar cost average for sure. And then the fold app card. If you can get your hands on one of those, that is definitely a great way to accumulate sats. I know me personally, I'm gonna keep 30 bucks off to the side. September 7th is creeping up on us, and everyone in El Salvador is about to get $30 worth of Bitcoin on September 7th. So I'm gonna unify with them. Not financial advice, but me personally, I'm gonna throw 30 bucks on Bitcoin September 7th.
Likewise.
Solidarity stack. I'm with it.
The solidarity stack. Hey, I just want to say shout out to the Black Bitcoin billionaires. Cause let me tell y'all something. Y'all been coming through the last few weeks, man. This thing's getting back to how it used to be. I know everybody had their summertime and summertime's over, and I guess you know what they say. School's back in session, baby. So I appreciate all y'all Black Bitcoin billionaires being here. We got Ian, Zay, T Mac. How you doing, T Mac? You doing better? Oh, the T Mac ain't on, but T Mac, much love to you, bro. We just want to share some love with you, bro. We know you was dealing with some hardships, so we just want to say what's up with you. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else, man, just appreciate y'all all being up here and being back. I also want to give a quick announcement. Toshi, his designs have come through. People are getting them on their doorstep. Matter of fact, they so hot, somebody got robbed. Like they literally broke the bag open, took all the clothes out of them. Like real
Oh
talk, man.
man. Oh.
Yes, they did. They did. So I'm fighting about that now.
They split the bag open, took the clothes out, and kept it moving. Like that's how hot the clothes was. So shout out to Toshi. I think Toshi got a new design coming soon, don't you, Tosh? He probably stepped away from his phone too. Toshi.
Man, I'm
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got some new stuff coming, and yeah, the new one is pretty fire, and I got some other stuff that's coming in the works.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Toshi. Toshi, man, you taking requests, man? You taking requests?
Hey Lamar, I don't mean to infringe on any copyrights or anything, but I definitely wanted to represent the Black Bitcoin billionaires everywhere I go. Did you see my jersey?
Hold on, let me take it.
Fire.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
dope.
oh, we got
Yeah,
jerseys.
that's a dope jersey, man. Oh, he got a jersey. Quavo made his own jersey.
I just
I
I
need
just
one of
want
those.
I just wanted to represent out here. Uh, Believe it or not, I met some people locally and I asked them about Bitcoin and they said, "Yeah, I'm in the Black Bitcoin Billionaires group. Do you know Miss Naja?" I said, "Yeah, I know Miss Naja." So apparently, you guys are reaching out and connecting with people in small cities worldwide.
Yeah, man.
What
Not
what
even just
what you
small
what
cities.
you should have said, Quavo, was yeah, I know Miss Naja. She copies me. She eating out her shoes now.
Cause you know it's so funny, man. I heard a dude. I went in another room on here, and he was like, "Lamar, I just want to let you know, man." He said I was just in the middle of Manhattan, and I overheard these two brothers talking, and they was talking about Black Bitcoin billionaire. He's like, I was thinking to myself, man, these people just randomly talking about Black Bitcoin billionaire in the middle of Manhattan. And I was like, man, like, listen, man, it's a shout out to all of y'all and what we are building around here, man. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. The club continues to grow. Make sure y'all invite your friends and family through. Because like I said, we were talking about this last night. We can go into it a little bit more. But we're just talking about the fact that if the people who we want to have the coins don't have the coins, what happens is the people who are already in control of the world from a financial standpoint are gonna mess around and get the coins. And then what happens? We're gonna be in the same type of predicament because we messed around and waited so late to get on. It's almost like Noah telling everybody it's gonna rain, and we like, look, man, come get on the ship. And you like, man, I don't see no rain. Where the rain coming from? Like this is your opportunity to begin stacking Bitcoin. Nobody's telling you take all of your life savings and all of that stuff because we want to make sure that you are comfortable right now. What I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying that is because we want to make sure you're comfortable. Because otherwise, if you're not, if there's a dip, you're gonna sell, and we can't have you out here selling your Bitcoin because we need you to have it in your hand. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you put some money in. And somebody just asked in the back channel, Miss Linda, she said, how do you go about getting it? You can go to the Black Wall Street app. That's is it Black Wall Street app, blackwallstreet.com, the blackwallstreet.com, Miss Naja.
Yes, sir. TheBlackWallStreet.com. It's in your app store on your cell phone.
And you can also go to Cash App. And I know a whole lot of black folk, we got Cash App, so it make it real easy to just go into Cash App and hit the button and buy some Bitcoin. Get off of zero. Don't you ain't got to use a whole lot, but I guarantee there's some money that you wasting right now that you get tired of wasting. And you're like, man, I need to do something better with this money. That's something better you can do with the money. Start saving your money up because when you start seeing all of this inflation, you need somewhere to keep your purchasing power so that what you have is worth more in the future. So yeah, what's going on, Dr. Schiller? I see you popped up. How was y'all's meeting this morning at Wake Up with Bitcoin?
It was good. It was good. I just went over the basics. We did our dollar cost averaging. There were a couple of questions, and then we closed out real quick. I saw that the price of Bitcoin was going up, so we did have a few extra people. I do notice that when the price is low, our attendance is low. When the price starts to go up, then more people want to buy. People like to spend money when it's higher. For some reason, but that's a phenomenon that's been going on for a long time. But it was good this morning. We had a great meeting.
Yeah, I think people like to feel like they feel good, but they don't understand. Like the best time to buy a house was probably right after the 2008 crash. The best time to buy Bitcoin is probably every single day by dollar cost averaging to make sure that you're not worrying about these swings. You know what I'm saying? But that's good stuff, Dr. Shiller. Dr. Shiller puts a room on every morning. At what time is that, Dr. Shiller?
7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 to 8, 9, or 10, depending. So it's Wake Up with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Basics for Beginners. In the morning, we do our Bitcoin Basics for Beginners where we're going over that basic stuff. And then the moderators come on in and they just start talking about anything, any questions that anyone has. So if you do have something that's a little bit beyond basics, we have Bunny that's a minor in Crypto Money Rob 45. He joins us from time to time. So if you have any questions, definitely join us in the morning, 7 a.m. to 8, 9, or 10. Wake Up with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Basics for Beginners. I just tweeted out this room that we're in now. So if you are in this room, can you tweet this out and share it on your platforms? Also, if you're in this room, don't forget to click the greenhouse at the top of the stage.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to bring up too, and I brought my man Fargo up. The other night we had a great room, man. Jay Hill, Ryan's, Jakumi, all of our resident traders. They were in there talking about day trading as a profession. Now, y'all know me, I'm not a big day trader fan. I'm not a big technical analysis fan. But at the same time, I wanted to give people an opportunity to be introduced to a profession and a skill set that actually some of these people make. That's how they make their living. Like that's all they do is trade. So I wanted to introduce that. So we're going to try to have even more rooms around that, around wealth building, just period, how to save, and then of course we're going to definitely have rooms around sovereignty. And so I want to talk to the panel this morning because one of my theories about Bitcoin is that as we start moving toward hyper Bitcoinization, we're also going to move towards serfdom. And if you don't know what serfdom is, it's basically just think about kings and peasants, right? So kings had the land, they owned all the land, and then people were able to live on the land, but they had to work for the king. What happens is when you get into a situation with hard money, a scarce asset, something that is scarce, then if I have a long-term contract with you, right? Like if I have a lease agreement with you, and you have to pay me in that scarce asset, what happens over time? Because over time it becomes more harder to get than if you have a set contract where you got to pay me so many satoshis a month. It's going to be increasingly more difficult for you to get those satoshis. Which the way I look at it, if you keep carrying that kind of thing out over time, what winds up happening is that those satoshis that you have to go get, it's gonna be a hard time getting them. So what's gonna happen? You're just gonna come to me and say, "Hey man, I can't get them satoshis I owe you, but I still need a place to live. Can I do some work for you?" And that's how that serfdom stuff winds up happening. And that's why I'm trying to tell you and try to make sure that all of us understand, like, make sure you get the hard asset, the new world money. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want nobody coming talking about Lamar, you on some other stuff when you're talking about new world. I'm talking about there we are moving into a digital world. We know that. Everybody sees that every single day. And there is hard money that has been created that is probably the hardest money, and that is Bitcoin. So make sure you ain't out here chasing all this fiat and missing out on the fact that you can have the Bitcoin at the price that it is right now, which is pretty low. Because in the future, it's going to be more and more difficult to get because you see the demand for it going up over time. And if you don't have nothing in your pocket, you're basically setting your entire generations up to to work for whoever has it in their pocket. Because if you think about going back to hard money, Hard money was gold at the beginning, and you saw what the world was like when we were on a gold standard completely. You saw what it was like. It was kings, emperors, right? Lords. Like that is what it is. So you got to understand, like the reason why I'm trying to tell everybody we need to front run these billionaires before they wake up and start trying to get it all because they're going to just hoard it. What happens is that we need to be out in the forefront of this and make sure also if we're going to have sovereign money, we need to start leaning more towards being more sovereign, which means we need to own our own houses, make sure we start thinking about renewable energy sources, make sure we get our own water. Those kind of things will help us as we move forward into the future because if you have sovereign money, the more sovereign you become, the more you don't have to use your sovereign money and put it back out in circulation. You can actually hold on to it like they did back in the day as kings and lords. And that's just real. Now, what do y'all think about that? I'm
Oh, that
opening
was
it up.
that was lit.
I think we need to buy this land in the islands, Lamar, so we can go ahead and set up the sovereign land, get our own water source, food source, mining
Right.
source, and we get our own satellites. We can literally do everything. So let's
We
jump
need to
on
be
that. Get these acres out here in the
1000%
we need to be
agree.
building our damn. We need to be building
That's
houses out of them.
Oh,
that's the move. We got to do a room on that by itself. What Zay was talking about. Me and Mar and a couple of people have been talking about that kind of stuff for the longest. But yeah, that's definitely the way I can definitely see that as the future for sure.
We
How many
actually
do we need to be on the island?
what do you mean?
How many bitcoins do we need to live on this island?
Oh, we don't know yet. That's the reason why we putting all this together. We've
yeah.
been looking around for land. We've been looking around for making sure it's close to water sources. We also got to understand we need to make sure that there's diversity in the skill set of the people that come, right? So you want to have people that are dentists, that are doctors, that can help in that way. You want carpenters, right? You want to make sure you have diversity of people that to get the place started first, because you're gonna need that at the very very beginning. But at the same time, it's really just about us figuring out a way to bring together our resources, buy spots, because this is what I was explaining. So the opposite side of being let me just say this real quick. The opposite side of being a king and a lord and an emperor is that what if you set up communities where everybody is already self-sovereign within the community in a decentralized way? So now they just own their own land, they own their own house, they own their own energy production, they own their own food production, and they don't need nobody else around them. But let's say that something happens. They have a fire. Somebody fried some French fries on the stove and wind up catching the house on fire. You know what I'm saying? What winds up happening is that when that goes down, because you have a community, everybody else that is self-sufficient can pitch in to help this person get back together. That's the kind of future that I see. And that everybody is holding on to Bitcoin as their reserve asset, but they don't actually have to ever spend it. That's the kind of future I see, man. It is not about being lords and being in control over people. It's about us working together and everybody being their own king or lord of their own domain and having their own stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And I believe we can get there. But we also have to understand that part of that is making sure that we have sovereign money. There's no reason being sovereign if you don't have sovereign money.
right.
And you all would be surprised as to how many on this stage are having the same train of thought, who's doing the same research. I think in our own ways, every single person I've talked to thus far is looking for a way to find a place that they can be self-sovereign. And I think if we all utilize that in some sort of network, no matter where we choose to be in this world, it's going to be incredible for us all.
Right? Because then we connect each one of those communities, right, Ms. Naja, in a decentralized way. So now we almost can be like if we want to go on vacation, we just swap houses. It's like Miss Naja can come to my spot in the islands, and I can go to hers in Antarctica because Miss Naja likes the cold like it. No, I'm just kidding.
Please. That's where you won't find me, y'all. It's secluded.
So yeah, man, these are just certain things that we talking about. What I want to do is go ahead and open the floor up a little bit to questions. So I brought some people up and people who
Right.
want to have conversations so we can keep this thing rolling. But go ahead. Who is that?
Great. Thank you. Real quick question. I appreciate you all. Um, one brother was mentioning the need for the cash dollar average, right, and being able to put money progressively towards Bitcoin. And right now, one of the instruments that I use is Acorns, and it doesn't allow for the placement of the dollars that are coming from transactions to go into your specified areas. But I'm asking the group: are there any instruments that operate in a similar fashion that can go towards that can allow for transactions like these small amounts of transactions towards a Bitcoin wallet?
Yeah, the Fold
Yeah,
app.
yeah.
I'm sorry, someone's talked on top of you.
He's a little staticky. It's Fold app, FOLD. F is in Frank, OLD .app. The Fold app.
Great. All right. Thank you. And then one
Another one.
additional.
Well, I can give you another one too. Coinbits. As you spend money, the change goes directly into Bitcoin.
Great. Okay. Thank you for both of those. And then one additional question, I think Isaiah mentioned it at the top of the conversation, was having a blockchain strategy. And I happen to work in film and television industry for a well-known organization, and I work in marketing. And I can tell you to date that there's been no discussion of a blockchain strategy, um, at least in that industry. And I would ask again the group: are there any things that we should be thinking about, or that even individual professionals in that industry should be thinking about with respect to blockchain strategy?
Well, let me do say this because I live here in Los Angeles around Hollywood. The conversation is being had definitely because blockchain was one of the way that they thought they would get around piracy and those different things. So there is a lot of things going on. Your company might not be specifically doing it, but I can offline I can give you about 10 companies that are implementing some things in the film and music industry to ensure that they're able to stay relevant. So, yep.
Okay, great, great. I'll connect with you offline. I appreciate the responses. Thank you.
And since he did bring up dollar cost averaging, if I might, really quick, during that last bull run, there was a couple that came to buy Bitcoin from me off the Black Bitcoin Billionaire platform. And so we have been talking and talking about dollar cost averaging. And what the couple decided to do, because at the time Bitcoin was about $51,000, they had enough money to buy two Bitcoins. So what we did was an experiment. So we had the husband go ahead and buy his Bitcoin outright. He spent 51,000, and that wife took her 51,000, and instead of buying it all at once, she purchased $20,000 worth, and then she dollar cost averaged her the rest of her money into Bitcoin. And what we found out this weekend, and that's even before the push just happened, that the wife actually has acquired more Bitcoin than her husband had when he just put in that 51 because she was able to take advantage of that dip around 30 and 29. And so it's an incredible, and that just happened this year. So I'm really super excited about knowing, and always you got to have some different, you got to have somebody that's willing to listen. But it definitely played out well in this particular scenario.
And I'll ask another quick question for individuals who may have, portfolios such as a 401k or even an IRA. Are there any mechanisms to direct those savings towards a Bitcoin?
CJ's up here, isn't he? Is CJ still up here? Oh, he must have left. Yeah, so there are IRA programs. I think Choice. Have you ever heard of Choice? I think choice is allowing you to set up and convert your IRA through self-directed IRAs to be able to buy Bitcoin for your IRA portfolio. Um, so there are several of them out there. I've heard of Bitcoin IRA, and I've heard like mixed reviews on a lot of different ones. But there are definitely ways to do it if you start to do some research. Again, I think choice is one of those ways. I can't remember though, so don't mark my word for it. Just I guess the easiest thing to do is probably go to Google and then let me see. Choice by Kingdom Trust, the Choice IRA. Yeah, you can check that out. It's retirewithchoice.com. and you can check that out.
The biggest thing you want to always remember is if you're talking to the platform and they do not allow you to hold your private keys, you do not want to participate in that particular Bitcoin IRA. So please remember that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Queen Nasha. I think there's another one, and I need to verify what you just stated, but it's Bitcoin IRA.com or BTCIRA.com. If you Google that, and hopefully that helps. But I'm gonna look and see if they allow you to possess your seed phrase for your coins.
Cold World to Your World on YouTube said, I appreciate all the knowledge that's being given out. Knowledge is power. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the people on YouTube. If y'all have any more questions on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, where we are streaming this stuff right now, please make sure you tap in and let us know any questions you have, and we'll make sure we get them answered up here on the stage.
And since the gentleman mentioned 401ks, and again, I'm not a financial advisor anymore. I don't hold any of those licenses. So what I'm saying is informational purposes only. If we're ever in a situation, ladies and gentlemen, like we were last year, where they allowed us or not allowed us, because I don't have any one anymore, but allow you to take money out of your 401k without penalty because of a catastrophe such as COVID, really make sure that you all start reaching out and really figuring out some things, because that was an incredible opportunity for those who had it, to be able to move that money without waiting their 59 days to happen. I think it was incredible. And I'm not hoping we have another catastrophe, but I'm hoping that our community is able to take advantage of that in the event that it happens again.
Awesome. Yeah. Let me see who else is down there. Sedarius, you came up. What's going on?
What's good? How's everybody doing?
Doing well, man.
All right, so I really didn't have a question. I really just had some comments I want to share about dollar cost averaging Bitcoin and things like that. But
Yeah, go ahead.
so first of all, thank you for inviting me up. I'm a long time listener. I'm kind of new to Clubhouse, but I've been teaching like Bitcoin class on the weekend, so I'll just share some things my group been doing. The moderators can approve or disapprove of it, but we just been dollar cost averaging Bitcoin and also using some of the cards from the platform for money we spending anyway to go ahead and accumulate Bitcoin that way as well. So since we gonna be spending money on necessities, things we need every day, I just been using my group, and we've been using these cards from these exchanges to go ahead and accumulate Bitcoin slowly or different assets and convert it into Bitcoin. But that is a taxable event because that counts as short-term capital gains. I know CJ the smart guy. He's pretty much certified CPA. I'm not really a financial advisor or CPA either, but yeah. So that's one thing I've been doing. Also with the 401ks and Roth IRAs, I just really took most of my funds out of my Roth and switched it over to crypto because I seen the how innovative it was and how useful it was to the community and everything that's going on to the world. So I just took most of everything, got my 401k and invested it. But not 401k, but Roth IRA. Because with the 401k, I do know that that's saying you're gonna pay Uncle Sam later for everything you put into it. So when you go to pull it out, that's gonna be taxed then. But now, they're probably the lower inflation gonna be because the more we wait and we say we're gonna pay Uncle Sam later, we probably gonna get hit even harder when you go to retire. Because inflation instead of gonna be going up, especially all the money pumping into the economy due to the pandemic and everything else that's going on. But I just took some of my Roth out because it just made more sense to me, and I seen more gains in my crypto portfolio than I had my Roth IRA, and I had my Roth IRA for 3 years, and I've been investing in this space for a little less than a year. So I just want to share some things we've been doing, but overall, I do like this group. I only been listening for like a month or so, but I'm getting a lot of info and a lot of value. So I do appreciate you all, and y'all really have been helping me like guide my group in the right direction as well. So I thank you all for that, and that's pretty much all I had to say. And thank you for having me up.
That's what's up. Thanks for popping up. Appreciate it. What's going on, Fargo? You up? What's happening?
What's going on, Lamar? Well, I guess good afternoon, Jacomi. What's going on, everybody?
What's good? What's good?
What's going on? So, Lamar, I wanted just to chime in, man. Great, thank you for curating the space once again. I feel like as a big, as a Satoshi owner and people that really believe the values of where it could possibly go and what we could possibly do with it, right? So the main thing is like we are independency, like in the institutional world they call Bitcoin the people's money, correct? So we want to take control of all these things. I hear a lot of people talking about how they invest in Roth IRAs, and I don't want to be that guy talking about trading, but take control over your money, in all aspects, as far as like learning a skill set. The same way we dug in and spent years of learning about Bitcoin, learn about day trading your money. Because when you put these monies in this Roths, these IRAs, these 401ks, you know what? They're making millions off your dollars, and they're giving you back pennies as far as like the percentages go. So I feel like personally, I just wanted to come on here and just say, like, for people that is taking the time to give themselves their knowledge of any crypto or any coin or any investment in general, we spend years on that. Well, take a few years and learn how to day trade, and really take your money and 10x it, 20x it, 30x it. Quarterly, where you don't have to sit back and wait for a 6% return from your 401k annually. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to thank you, and I'm just gonna sit back and just listen.
Hey, you preaching to the crowd, bro. To the choir.
Yeah, that's because that's the thing. We always talk about the traders in here, and I want to use this as a disclaimer. Like most people don't make any money. Matter of fact, I hear the other traders saying 95 to 97% of people lose money trading.
Correct.
So understand, and matter of fact, almost every trader I've talked to has lost money at the beginning. Like most traders
For
lose
sure.
money off top. If you can't fight through that, then trading is not for you. But trading is a skill set, and it's one that I've sat and watched people who do it as for a living. They are able to do that. But just know that everybody's not a trader. Just like everybody can't carry a tune in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody who says they they might can sing, but you can't sing. So just recognize that there's a certain set of skills, and you can be trained. But sometimes it's about psychology and other things. So don't just think you're just gonna go out here and do it. If you're gonna do it, like make sure you find somebody who can mentor you, who ain't trying to take a whole bunch of bread out your pocket, you know what I'm saying, just to mentor you in the first place. But anyway, good stuff, Fargo. What's going on, Heritage? All the way from Nigeria. What's happening, man? Is Heritage still on here? I dropped. Dagger, what's going on? You next. What's going on, Dagger?
Hey Lamar, man. Hi everyone. I always appreciate what you say, man. Something that you said right at the beginning that I joined kind of resonated with me a lot when you talked about decentralized societies and how if someone in that society falls, we have our own backstop to help them. We don't need like a government or like a third party. We have our own kind of system to help others in need in our societies. That's beautiful, man. That's what Bitcoin allows.
Exactly.
And I see that as not only prophetic, but I actually see that as the future. That's where we're going. It's going to be more like how it is in Tonga with tribal societies, where we're going to be kind of joined together at the hip with Bitcoin, and I think it's going to be better for humanity as a whole. I hope it goes that way because the other way is awful.
Right. Yeah. A society where we help one another and don't, like you said, have to worry about trying to go beg the same government that is printing us into that existence. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, they're printing into oblivion, and this is basically the only way out. We got each other and we got Bitcoin. That's about it.
Right. They print money to the chagrin of those that are working. That's what people don't understand. Like real talk. Michael, what's going on, man?
Hey Lamar, how's it going, brother?
Doing well, brother. What's up with you? Came on stage. What's happening?
Man, I'm enjoying the conversation. I was first of all thinking about where is it going to be a continuous bull run, and from the earlier conversation, just thinking that we may see a bit of a stop if we hit like 80 before it bounces down, bounces back up. But the other conversation, as far as you and I have had before, thinking about just the applications and the investment opportunity when it looks at Bitcoin and looking at marginalized communities, we look at communities abroad, whether it be across the African continent, or across other nations, and how they're starting to look at it favorably, look apply it actually, and talking about it from a local community aspect. Or if I think about where my family comes from Kenya, from a national aspect, where it's really changing, uh, and it's becoming a bigger conversation on the government aspect. You can already just see the winds slowly. The elders with the elders and with the older generations, especially like my folks generation right now is really starting to talk a lot more, just because their kids are so excited, saying, "Hey, uh, you know, y'all need to start looking at that as an option, especially when looking at long term down the road, how to not only pass on land, but also make sure that there's value in whatever financial instruments that they have, so that they don't have to look at."
Oh,
Did he just
damn. I
get
think he got
booted or?
dumped. I think he got dumped. I think his signal dropped or something. Damn. Oh, hey. Here you are. Hi, Michael.
It was getting messed up, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
There we go. So where did I cut off? I apologize.
Remittances.
Yes. So yeah, it's getting to be a big hit there. With my cousins and their app development, they're talking with their friends coming out of the Narvi University, or the international university there, and it's a big push with the younger generations. But they're also talking with their elders and with their tribal leaders, and with their parents and their grandparents now. And there's been a fun push there as far as being able to look at it from a legacy aspect.
I was gonna say, Michael, you should check out the Lightning, or excuse me, you should check out the Strike app, because I know that they're helping out with Lightning transactions and remittances in El Salvador, and they just sent a couple of their first transactions to Nigeria and Ghana. So you might want to tap in with, maybe just like follow the Strike app on Twitter and Jack Mahler and see what they're doing.
I will definitely do so.
Yeah, Michael, one more question about Kenya. Are they excited about Bitcoin specifically or crypto in general?
There's been a fervor for crypto, but there's been a huge push on Bitcoin as well. Look at conversations that start from like the East African Standard, which is the newspaper that comes out of Kenya, but also in looking at the side rooms and conversations that are taking place. There's a big push towards Bitcoin, and looking at its platform, and it seems like, hey, we're already used to simple mobile-to-mobile transactions within Pesa. How can we leverage Bitcoin as well and really start building wealth there?
That's awesome. Thank you.
And I had a quick question for Michael. It's in your profile it says you're an accountant. Do you do Bitcoin taxes in Kenya?
I don't, but I know my uncle has been looking into that and seeing how he can be able to not only add that to his practice, but also just start training people on that.
Yeah, because okay, so here in America, there's a huge debate about how Bitcoin should be put on our balance sheet with fees and every report at the cost basis. And if it ever appreciates, it ever goes up in value, we don't mark it up. But if it goes down in value, we take a impairment loss. And so, there's going to be companies like a MicroStrategies or a Tesla that won't fairly represent, how much that company is worth because on the books, it's always going to be a lower amount. And so I know with international accounting, sometimes they do it at fair market value, where every quarter, every 3 months they'll adjust it up or down just according to what the price is. Um, are you familiar with any of that, or is that something that your brother's looking to also?
I am familiar with that. In talking with like my cousin as a chartered accountant, is kind of things we've had to speak about, especially with estate planning and some of the transfers from like my grandparents and the investments that they held. Uh, but the problem is that the tax law is not consistent across the 50 plus nations. So it's uh, there's a lot of weird leeways there and a lot of weird rules. So it's making sure that it's consistent across the board there. But I'm actually having a conversation about that with him. Who we're looking at the family trust and how to best track acquisition of Bitcoin over time so that there aren't any issues.
Got you. I'm glad you're talking about it. That's something I feel like we're all trying to figure it out because the rules out here aren't good either. So we're all just trying to figure it out. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
I have a question for the room, if I may. For the moderators and for anyone on the stage, I know that there are some initiatives, Lamar. I know that you and a team are working on your initiative of bringing Bitcoin education to the public school system. I wanted to know from the moderators in your walks and in your networks and your circles, do you all feel that the college level, post-secondary level, is doing enough to prepare college students for Bitcoin mass adoption? And in addition to that, what do you think about our public school systems as well?
I don't think a lot of people are really studying it at any level of school. I think it is very imperative for us to actually educate those around us. And that's why we have what we have with Black Bitcoin Billionaires and u.sunjoin.com, because I don't think you're getting this knowledge anywhere else. Think about it. They don't even hardly talk about pure financials, like financial literacy in schools. And that's something that we all need. You know what I mean? So we all need that just to even get to the point where we learn that we can save. You gotta learn how to budget before you can save. You know what I mean? So it's like I think that it's imperative for us to get this knowledge and then to spread that knowledge because we do have it and add value to the world in that way. And even people who say, "Well, man, that's not my calling to teach it." Da 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 da. But here's the thing: if you are gaining this knowledge, I am saying to you right now, and it is your responsibility to share what is good. Because every time you don't take the time out to share what is good with the people around you, do you really love them? Let's answer that. Let's answer that question, right? Like, if I have something that is good that can help people around me, and I do not share that with them, how in the world can I walk them into the face of those same people and hug them and say I love them? It just makes no sense to me. So as we continue to share this knowledge, make sure you share it, and then we can get into the realms of those people who make the decisions for curriculum across all different educational grades and classes, we can get into the minds of them so they can then see the importance of talking about hard money, the importance of talking about economics and all of these things at earlier ages in school. Because our entire society, especially in the United States of America, is built on capitalism, and yet we don't teach our kids about capitalism. What we normally do is teach them how to be cogs within the capitalist system. And we need to teach them about how capitalism works so they can then make the decision if they want to be a cog or to be able to go out into the world and actually participate in capitalism, not as something that is just used as capital in the system. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, Ms. Kim, I think that is just imperative for us as individuals to do that ourselves.
If if I may, sister, I think it would be cool. I have first of all, excuse my rudeness. Peace to the family, the BBB family, everyone up here. It's been a long time
What's happening,
since I
Sharif?
see everyone,
Peace, Sharif.
so it's good to see y'all. Uh, I think it would be cool, Sister Kim, if you want to connect. I actually have access to a couple of schools here in Charlotte, and I had been planning to revamp my mentorship program anyway. So if you want to connect and try to come up, if we can come up with like a set curriculum, kind of like we do Wake Up with Bitcoin, I know that would be a basic way of introduction, and maybe we can start implementing it here, and then start making some moves. In addition to that, I wanted to let the family know, I put it in Lamar's back channel. I heard everyone talking earlier about the great work of the BBB. And I wanted to point out, the other day I was at an event here in Charlotte, and I saw my brother Anthony Hamilton, and he came to me and said something about Black Bitcoin Billionaire that I hadn't introduced him to yet. And it was just interesting because, for him to come around and be talking about the group, I was like, oh man, that's major. So keep doing the great work because it's spreading in ways that we may not even realize. I love you all and peace.
Oh, that was good.
Um, Sorry to interrupt, but I did just want to add a few comments to that. So I'm in agreement with most of the group. So I do agree with the school system and not doing a good job of teaching it financial literacy in a whole. So that was one of my problems when I graduated in 2012. So I do agree that it's left on us to pick up the pieces that was left, especially when you graduate, because they don't give you the tools to survive. They don't give you really the tools to succeed in life. So that's really left on us to go ahead and do all the teaching. So that's why I dedicated my time to like just get people involved in this space, especially on the weekends. So that's why I really try to go out my way and just do it on my own because I see a lot of people don't know about it, don't understand it, and a lot of people still think it's a scam. So that's why we do what we do on the weekends as well. But my mentor also told me if somebody calls something a scam, it's just simply because they still confused about money. So that's all I really had to say on that subject, and I rest my mic.
Really quickly, I
Yeah.
got an
Oh,
individual on Facebook that's watching. They said they can't get in, they can't get access to Clubhouse. Um, I don't know who this is who's saying they can't get access to the Clubhouse because I can't see your picture on the site. So do me a favor and I don't know if you can't get access to our room on Clubhouse. Can't get access to Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, back channel me so I can figure out what's going on. All right. Yes, go ahead, Miss Valencia. You're next.
Hi, I just wanted to say that UNT and UTA in Texas, they both do their own TED Talk, and I've been, considering doing a TED Talk for a while now, actually. They host it once every year. So, I think that might be a good way to, get it out there because, it's kind of big. So,
yeah,
that's all I really want.
I
Got
think
you.
relying on the traditional system for education in this brand new space is not going to work out well. And I think that, it's just like Lamar said, like we're just going to all have to kind of do our part, link up with Josh and Naja for summer camp, crypto kid summer camp, and Zay, he's got a summer camp. And I think that's just what it is. Like, if we're building this new system with this new money and we're going to be sovereign citizens, like we're also going to have to make sure that we're the ones putting into place and implementing uh, education in this, quote unquote free society that we're trying to build. So, I don't think it's going to come from traditional systems.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. It's definitely not going to come from traditional systems, and that's one of the reasons we pulled our kids out of the school system and began homeschooling them because anytime you're trying to enact any kind of changes in that system, it becomes bureaucratic and it becomes less about the children and more about the adults that's mixed up in their system. So once we discovered that, it was like it's a no brainer to pull the kids out and start from the basis and start giving them financial literacy 101 because that's the first pillar of any kind of progress you're going to need because that's where it all begins.
I agree with Jakumi. I think a lot of times you get met with a lot of ego when you present things to that system because it's meant to do exactly what it's doing, especially in our inner cities. So yeah, doing like the initiatives that we're doing now and like picking those up and moving the ball forward with them. I think that's really the way. And coming together and making these initiatives as big as possible on each of our end, however we can support each other. I think that's really the way to go about it.
I also would just wanted to say that I don't think it's just about, educating people, but also because there are other resources. So there is, small groups of people reaching other small groups of people, and it spread. The information spreads by word of mouth, and it's also about reaching out to a specific group of people or certain individuals who are more in power. So, for example, right, if I was to speak at a TED Talk, it's about who I reach, and that one individual can make a major impact. So if I reach out to someone who is, on the board of education at UNT, for example, right, then they might be able to actually have the power to initiate an actual cryptocurrency program at UNT.
Velissa,
Totally
I
agree with you
do.
there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
No, go
sorry. Go
ahead. I was just saying I agree with Melissa there
Yeah,
with the TED talk.
Velissa. Yep, I was going to say I certainly do agree with you because those type of platforms lend themselves to the change makers and to the disruptors and to individuals with maybe different ideology than the status quo. That particular stage, right? But I also must underscore what my brothers were mentioning when it comes to the public school system and the education machine. It is so bureaucratic and filled with red tape that they would rather our children leave um, undereducated, poorly versed, and ill prepared than to allow individuals to come in and disturb the way that they teach to the test. And with that, I know that I've decided to be a change agent and shake things up, and I know that most of the moderators have as well. Melissa, were you on tour this summer or this May?
I was, yes.
I feel like I never can forget a voice. Were you the videographer for this May?
I was.
Yes, I remember. I remember your voice before I remember who you were. So yes, well, thank you. I wanted to say too, thank you so very much because I watched you work. Thank you for your tireless effort on that tour. You guys, he was the videographer for this tour.
Thank you so
So,
much.
so I wanted to just appreciate you and to thank you, sister, for the work that you did and the
Is it
support
me
that
or
you.
am I losing Kimberly or is it?
No, I can't hear either.
Oh, I'm sorry. It may have been me.
Now,
Yeah,
Can
did
you
you
guys
we
hear
send
we
me?
me your
didn't hear
back channel?
anything you said past. Well, I didn't pass her tireless efforts.
Oh, well, let me go back. Thank you, Valissa, for your tireless efforts, for you doing your work in the sun, the rain. I watched you. You were so professional and you were just out there doing your thing. I recognized your voice before I even knew who you were because I was like, I know I heard that voice before, and I went to your profile. So I want to salute you too, sis, hanging in there with Miss Naja and documenting things. And you were just an excellent, excellent force. I saw you, sister. I just wanted you to know that. So thank you for coming on the stage today.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I appreciate it.
Hello, can I add a few things?
Yeah,
All
and
right.
of
All
course.
Go
right.
for it.
Yeah,
I
go
was
ahead,
just
Cole.
asking Lamar if he was still on Facebook. Are we
Yeah,
still on? We
yeah. I
still?
was looking. Nobody. Yeah, nobody's saying anything. And the gentleman or woman who, yeah, I don't know. The woman or the gentleman who said that they couldn't get in, they haven't done what I was talking about. So I can't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who it was. So yeah, go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I have three things. I kind of wrote another thing as I'm sitting here listening. Um, Financial literacy is basically been. I don't know if it's been. I don't. It's basically between kept and left out of our school systems. It's just been that. And, the past. That's the past. I don't know how the future's gonna be, but it's more of a family ritual. So within our families, we have to, we have to educate about finances. It's sad to say, but that's just how it is. So everybody here listening, in the audience and on stage, whatever, just let your family know what you know. You have to pass it on that way, out of school. um, So that's the first thing. The second thing is in the beginning, I didn't even know about Satoshis. Everybody's, I hear Bitcoin, 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 but Satoshis, you know, I think Miss Naja was talking about how it's like pennies of a dollar, and that made sense. So right now you can get 10,000 Satoshis for $5, and I think the 30,000, 50,000 scares people. So if we minimize that, and like I think there was also a push for Satoshi millionaires. I think it's like $496 now. So I think we have to stay on that. That should be where we start instead of just especially for beginners. Um, that should be where we start. Explain that Satoshi is a part of a Bitcoin. And my third is pretty much a question. Ledger one two. I have a ledger. The ledger 123. When is that? I'm done.
Miss Naja, when is your Ledger 123 class?
I'm sorry, I was outside sweeping in front of my place. What you say?
When's
Said
the Legend
he's
One Two
asking.
Three class?
We just did a ledger 123 on Saturday, so the next one will be in September. But I'm gonna probably have one in half of the month because I'm working with Ledger right now to just make sure we understand how to save our NFTs on the Ledger. So we'll probably have something before then. So just kind of stay tuned. We're gonna have a Ledger and Me NFT instead of 123, but we're gonna do that halfway through the month.
In response to kind of what Carl was saying, number one, financial literacy, the reason a lot of times it has not been taught in the home is because people didn't know. It's a little more now. These folks are like, okay, buy Bitcoin, but you have to go back to knowing to pay bills on time, interest rates. So there's a whole gamut of things that go along with the financial literacy piece. In fact, I'm speaking to everyone. Keeping your interest rates down, not buying a car for 10 to 15% interest when you can actually buy it, or walk in and put zero down and go from there. So I think we have not done it because a lot of us have not experienced it until of late, and we're just getting there. So that's why our parents couldn't tell us about it, and I'm a woman of a certain age, as they say. So for sure, my parents not being able to talk about it. I just know from my dad, he was always just, I'm not paying interest on anything. So he was a cash and carry kind of guy, which now I thank God for and respect, even to the point of, buying property straight out, saving money and going in with 60, 70, $80,000 and just buying property straight out cash. And so I understand because he hated paying interest. So it's a work to be had to start now, like Jakumi and others are doing with their children, and fortunately, even my children now understanding zero APR and things of that nature, and being able to go on and look for the best interest rates, and that along with proper investing. And we mentioned just a minute ago, to become a million a Satoshi millionaire, Carl, right now is almost $500. If someone wanted to actually do that. I'm Natalie, and I'm done speaking.
And I just
Yeah,
really
to add,
Can I slide in really fast? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to jump in about talking to your family members about Bitcoin, Satoshis, anything like that. You definitely have to plant the seed, but what I don't want you all to go into this naive thinking that almost everybody that you talk to is going to have some buy-in or they're going to understand. It's going to take you a while for a lot of your family members to even get on board. And so you just again plant the seed, stay diligent, don't get discouraged, because again a lot of folks are not going to come along with you. They're not even going to understand, they're not going to seek to understand right now, and that's just the space that we're in. So again, as you talk to your family, I just don't want anybody to get discouraged and feel like you're doing something wrong, because it happens to all of us. I'm sure that Lamar can tell you he's got folks in his family that still don't believe, as do I. Teach it every day. I got an actual cryptocurrency bank, and they still don't believe. A lot of folks don't believe until it's a little bit too late. And so, well, it's not a little bit too late because we're at the beginning, but I don't think that they're going to come on board until it's too late. And it is what it is. You can only save some. So I just wanted to make sure that you all are understanding that that's the way this space actually, people operate in this space that don't know and really don't seek to understand right now. Because as I always say, in our community, we feel like we don't need to fix what's not broken. And right now, they can go to the store, they can do all these things with money, and they feel like it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's just the mindset that we have in our community that we are seeking to change. So that's it for me.
Yeah, and just really quickly, Shavetta Stewart on Facebook says, "How do you obtain Satoshis?" Again, Satoshis are just the smallest unit of Bitcoin, and so you can get wherever you buy Bitcoin, you can get Satoshis. Because whenever you see the point, and then there's some digits after the decimal or the point, those are Satoshis. So if you use the Black Wall Street app, if you use Cash App, you can get your Satoshis there easily. So just for everybody who's asking that question. I see Miss Terrain came up. How are you doing, Miss Terrain? Hello.
Can I slide in real quick? I'm gonna have to leave shortly, but I did want to say something before I left.
Yeah. Did y'all hear me about the Satoshis?
Hello?
Yeah, you came in.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Samuel.
Yeah, I have just this is my first time here, and it's great to see the community really starting to adapt to the paradigm shift that we're headed into. And I have been dealing with this for probably a longer period of time than most have. We have actually built out a platform where we can accept cryptocurrency as payment for our products and also utilize it in our ecosystem for transferring funds through a decentralized banking system. So we're moving quickly into this area. I see that with the government, as I've heard other people talking with the amount of money, you look at 40% of our currency was created in the last year. And I can't tell you one thing that I can see that equates to any changes in our
in our country compared to $12 trillion that just came up out of the air. I hope that everybody grabs hold of this and move forward. The other thing that I wanted to touch base on before I left is trisector education. Right now, what we're focused in on is government, private industry, and education working together to make this shift. And we're moving away from degrees and moving to certifications to bring people up to speed faster on a lot of the things that you're talking about here. So we are trying to move it forward, and we're also trying to move into this decentralized financing, which is going to be huge. And if you'll take a look at the Polkadot, the Ethereum, and the um, Cordova, those are the three that are really focused in on the decentralized financing. And I think that that's going to be the strength where we're moving forward with is moving.
Um, brother, I know
Yes,
you are here talking about all of these other coins, right?
right.
And I if you are feel that strong about it, I would love to have a conversation with just me and you, and I'll break down all those coins you just said, and
Okay.
about DeFi and all of that, because the problem is that it's a lot of marketing. My first question I'm gonna ask you right now while you on stage is, have you ever developed any software?
Yes, I have a software company.
Okay, you have a software, but I'm saying, are you the developer at your software
N-
company?
No, I have engineers that develop the code.
So you're saying Cardano, right?
I said that would be one of the ones that, the
So,
guy that started
but
Cardano is the one that left Ethereum to
yeah,
start
that
Cardano.
we know he left it, right? But my
Hmm.
question is, does Cardano even have smart contracts after 6 years of them talking about it?
No, and neither does Ethereum.
No, Ethereum does have smart contracts. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the reason why we are very hesitant about letting people come up on stage and just talk about other coins, because you just gave out two pieces of false information and that quick. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So we gotta make sure that when you come up here that you are vetted and know what you're talking about. And that's why I said I'd rather get in another room, because this is what happens in our community. It's like
All right.
people get pulled away by the lust of of a coin, or they get pulled away by the marketing and everybody said that's where it's headed and all of these other things, and want to sound like an expert on the situation, but yet they don't even know that Ethereum already has smart contracts. And you knew that Cardano didn't, but at the same time, it's like we're sitting here talking about something and you're saying that's where we headed next, and they haven't even been able to produce something. So people are gonna put their money in something. Last night I had a gentleman tell me that Cardano is going to 100x from where it is right now, not realizing that Cardano at this very moment is 90. It has a $93 million market cap, which means if it were to 100x, they will be sitting at a $9 trillion market cap, which is very close to gold. So my question is, if it's $9 trillion market cap on Cardano, what happens to the rest of the market? So is Cardano something that doesn't even work at all, that is not proliferating across the globe as much as even Bitcoin, is going to all of a sudden have a $9 trillion market cap that's getting close to gold, and everyone with these assets are going to start piling their money into Cardano? That's what I'm saying. And Cardano has a lot of competition, so that's why we don't like if you're gonna come up here and start talking about other coins in an environment where we're definitely trying to get people into the king of coins, right? Because there's a king out there and everybody knows it. And so for our community, we don't want to start leading people down the line of all of these other coins before they even have an opportunity to get the one that's only going to ever be 21 million of. So I had to say that because this is it's the kind of stuff that happens on a consistent basis, especially during a bull market. During a bull market, everybody's brilliant, everybody's amazing, and most of the time when there's a bear market or we going sideways, nobody comes out of the woodwork. So I just wanted to put that out there, man, because
No, I appreciate your
this
opinion.
is not the stage for it, especially
Appreciate
not
your
during the Genesis block, bro.
I appreciate your opinion. I just thought I'd offer mine, but obviously that was in a direction that was not focused on where you're headed to. I appreciate your opinion, though. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's cool. Yeah, ain't no thing. I mean, the thing is that I would love to sit down with you and let's talk about the actual facts of stuff and where we are right now, and not the actual promise. Because there's a 6'4", 13-year-old right now somewhere that their mama has a lot of promise, thinking they gonna go to the NBA, and she ain't never seen them dribble. That's all I'm saying. It's the
All
same
right.
thing with all of these coins.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
So I'm just like y'all see, I'm very serious about this, y'all, because it's too easy to get distracted. It's too easy for us to take our eye off the prize. Like I can understand when Miss Nas is talking about NFTs and supporting artists. Because guess what? You're gonna probably support those artists anyway, regardless if you have fiat, Bitcoin. Like I said, if they selling it on toilet paper and you want to support them, support them. That's called support. That's different. That's a different reason why you in it. But when you're talking about trying to get into an asset, there's opportunity cost. And every asset that you betting on that ain't even made it yet, every single one that you're going into that hasn't even done anything yet, is more Bitcoin that you're not able to get to procure. Because the problem is what happens. Yeah, you might get into it and it goes up, and you see a balance, and you got all this fiat balance in your wallet. But the problem is most people don't know when to get out of the casino. Yeah, you might get up 10 times, you might get up 7 times, 8 times. But then what happens is that you think that that's going to go to 100 times, not realizing that the market cap of it going to 9 trillion is probably highly improbable given the environment that we are in. So now you holding on to something that probably is not going to get there, and you probably got all the juice you could out of that orange, and you don't even recognize that it ain't got no more juice in it. So you holding on to it, and guess what happens to an orange you done squeeze all the juice out of, and you just let it sit out on the counter and you holding on to it? What happens to it?
It rots out.
It starts to rot and stink. And that's the problem when people trying to tell people to get in it. Because if you're gonna tell them get in it, you better tell them when to get out of it too. I'm
Fat.
sorry, y'all. I'm
No,
sorry, I'm on one right now, man.
That's real
no, no,
though.
no.
That's
As
real. I
you
don't think
should.
a lot of
And you,
people realize. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. You go ahead. Black Ricard.
No, no, lady first. Go ahead, Miss Nuts.
No, I was just saying, as you should, Lamar, and I really feel wholeheartedly what you said, and I am just thankful that we have a community where we actually step up and are protecting our folks from misinformation, because that is one of the things that will kill our community softly is miseducation in this space. And I just feel the need, just because you brought it back up, to make sure that you all understand, because I preach this all the time. I either invest in this space for purpose or price. My price is Bitcoin. My purpose is any of this other BS that I buy. So I bought some BS this weekend. Absolutely. And I actually listed it on purpose for way more than I thought anybody would ever pay, because I'm trying to make a statement that if you put your money in NFTs, you are doing it for the purpose only, not because the price is going to go up. So I bought something to support artists and to really try to help build some of these kids in the inner city that need to be and taking tutelage from some of these engineers. But at the end of the day, if you look at that NFT I bought, I actually put it up for sale at 50 Ethereum. I know doggone well ain't nobody about to give me $170-something thousand for a piece of painting that I only paid a couple of $100 for. And I did it intentionally. You folks, please don't get sucked in to all of this extra hype, because it is going to hurt our community. And Lamar said it the best. We need to be focusing on the asset that we know is going to help sustain our community, sustain our household, and the rest of this stuff is not the answer. And we can tell you and show you in more ways than one why it is not. So as he said, it's 6 years later. Has Cardano done what they're supposed to do? The answer is absolutely not. It's not that the projects that are coming up are not going to be phenomenal, but we really need to make sure that we are rooted in what is good first before we indulge in all this other stuff. And yes, I did call some of it BS. Again, I love art. I love Nipsey. That's why I even venture to do it. But what I will say is I did not do it for the purpose, for the price. I did it for the purpose. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that, and just know I'm passionate about Bitcoin. I'm passionate about our community getting in here right now and educating. So, however we're doing it, we all need to pull together and figure out who has what, and not try to reinvent the wheel, and take our community where we need to go as quick as possible. So, that is me. And I don't ever say I'm done speaking, but I'm done speaking.
Hey, respectfully, not to jump off a tangent, but NFTs can gain value, but yeah, definitely not at the value of what Bitcoin will be doing for sure.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. They can. I said that earlier. If you got an artist that people already respect, let's say Basquiat, the Basquiat of digital art was
Yes,
out
sir.
here, right? If you have that type of situation, but the majority of people ain't Basquiat, just like the majority of the people ain't Kanye, the majority of the people ain't Jay-Z. So if
But
you ain't a person out here that recognizes a Basquiat or Jay-Z and understand art for what it is, like we gotta protect folk, man. Like
oh
that's
yeah,
the
but
thing.
can I respectfully not to cut you off, Lamar? I just want to say one thing about NFTs, just to and to get off of it because I don't want to curate a room around NFTs. But pretty much like a lot of people got to understand, it started off in the culture of art and music, but the non fungible token, the CR72 token, is going to be used, and companies are going to build on top of the blockchain. And like doctors, for example, let's say you and your wife
Fargo,
you
I'm
met.
gonna stop you right now because I'm gonna tell you right now, you haven't been around enough because you don't really know this. But I've been using NFTs for a very long time.
For sure.
I built a whole company on top of using NFTs for accounts receivable trading, open account receivable trading.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I understand NFTs. We understand that all of this stuff that you're talking about, right? But that don't again, if you don't understand, that's why I asked the other dude, is he a software developer? Because if you don't understand what you're building on top of, yeah, you can build a house, like I said last night, you can build a house on sand. But that sand is not a solid place to build a house. And it may stand for a little bit of time. But the reason you gotta let me explain something to people. Do you understand why they're trying to move to E 2.0? They're trying to like Ethereum and all of these NFTs that are being built on. They're trying to move to ETH 2.0 because they have figured out that it is sand that they have built on. The same way that many of us developers who have built on that platform, and many of us developers that have run our own derivative of that platform, recognize. So when they recognize that, they was like, "Well, shoot, we got to come up with a solution for that." And that solution is for us to create a completely new chain. You understand what I'm saying? And
Oh no,
so
but I want you to know I'm in agreement with you. I think yeah, is this is a short term thing over the next few years where it could pop. I was just saying that it can gain value. That's all I was touching on, as
yeah,
far as
I
somebody.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
But the question is, it's like this. This is what I always say. If you know you got a sure thing, if you find if Fargo, are you married, man?
No, sir, I'm not.
Well, look, when you find your wife, right, you know you got a wonderful woman. You feel me? And she is amazing. Are you going the first woman that come past that look hot, that got a nice tennis skirt on with a nice booty? Are you gonna go holler at her just because you know that you can have a good time for 20 minutes?
Of course, no, of course not. But what
But
I'm
that's what
saying,
I'm
I'm in
saying. So
agreement
you
with you
gotta.
though.
It's
I'm in
about
agreement
record.
with you.
Yeah, you gotta recognize value. You dig what
We're
I'm
not
saying?
against the fact that NFTs can't gain value. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
But it's just like buying a baseball card. Maybe a Babe Ruth card is it. I'm like it's just it's a collectible. Period. It is a collectible, and yes, maybe at some point it may, but maybe at some point it may not. And don't no black folk in America got time to try to figure out if should if it's gonna do. We don't have that time. We are out of time for BS. So that's the point I'm making. It could do that, but it could not. And then somebody is sat somewhere lost because they could have bought Bitcoin as opposed to thinking that this NFT was going to do something.
Oh,
I'm
for sure. Yeah,
And
yeah,
we
for
long
thought
sure.
it.
neck,
And Miss Nas, we
long
thought it.
necky and all that. That stuff is just those in my opinion are I don't know. I'm gonna be quiet. I said I
We
was gonna
thought
be.
Miss Nas, we saw that with NBA Top Shot. Like NBA Top Shot was hot for a grip. Like it was hot. Everybody was on them. Everybody was buying them. Some people was getting up. Da 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 da. And we seen the entire market of that drop out. And have you heard anybody else talk about going to get an NBA Top Shot? So now people stuck with Luka Doncic's hook shot from 19. You know what I'm saying? That they can't
Hey,
even move
Lamar.
now.
Hey Lamar, but I honestly, in my honest opinion, because I'm actually invested in it, I honestly believe the only industry that will benefit from NFTs is the music and entertainment industry. And I have my biased opinions about that. Yeah, but as far as these artists and collectibles, yeah, they're gonna hit or miss for 3 years, lose money for 4 or 5. It's gonna be an up and down roller coaster. Bitcoin is the most consistent, valuable digital asset. I stand by that. But what I was just saying is, I do honestly believe that music artists and producers and things like that will eat off the NFT market
Oh yeah,
for a
they're
long
gonna get
time.
their money. That's why I keep saying artists get your money, musician get your money. But as a person trying to invest in it for the come up, realize that you just out here supporting the artist and recognize it for what it is. You supporting the artist and artists get your money. Use whatever NFT platform you can to get your money.
And you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't tell the absolute truth about this NFT because I want to make sure that our community is well aware. So I received a call this weekend from the artist telling me what his plans are and what his intentions are, and he suggested that I go and be the first one to buy this art. And he's been in here. He knows I got a big old portrait of Nipsey on my wall in my office. He knows I had the hustle coin. He knows those things. So he knew 9 times out of 10, if he called me and talked to me about what his plan is, not necessarily the NFT, that I would bite. And that is exactly what happened this weekend. He told me he had a couple people looking at this first original piece, and I need to go take a look at it. It was point 0.3 ETH or point 0.6 ETH, whatever it was. And I really needed to, look at it. And so I did. But he wound up he dropped the price to point 0.3 ETH so that I would participate, because ain't nowhere in the world I would have spent that, a whole almost entire Ethereum for that. So I literally had to trade out of some other coins to even do the Ethereum, because it's just not something that I was interested in. But again, to support, so for those that are listening, understand you got to get out there and market this thing and convince the right people to actually partake. And so I bought mine, and then I knew that CJ the smart guy was a avid Nipsey follower as well. And I don't want to say follower, because we've all had interaction with him on a personal note. So then CJ the smart guy will tell you, I sent him a text message. I said, look what I just bought. And I'm putting mine up for 50 ETH just on purpose to say I'm not trying to sell it. I just bought it to support. And then this morning I wake up, CJ the smart guy bought his. So that is how a lot of this art and these NFTs are going in the first place. So just the general folks, just understand that if you're going to be an artist in this space and you don't have a big name, you've got to really find the people that are supporting you to support the cause or whatever it is you're trying to do. And again, that's it. But that's keeping it 100. I didn't just look up and say, oh, there's a great Nipsey thing I'm going to buy. It took him to call me, talk to me for 30 or 40 minutes to tell me about his plan before I even pulled the trigger to move some funds to buy his art. And that's it. So I'm just going to keep it 100.
Yeah, and
I
the
think
reason why I bought it is because um, first, like you said, when Nas just texted me that, I was like, okay, cool. And then when I saw that it was by Israel, Israel was one of the people when we first started the Black Bitcoin Billionaires Club. He was one of the first like artists to be talking about these types of things. We used to have like Lady Phoenix, we used to have Israel and things like that. So I felt like, for a purpose perspective, um, I felt like that's somebody I worth supporting. And if the majority of people in here know that, I tried to interact with most people's businesses to some degree in here. I think that group economics is very important. Me being a CPA, I understand economics as a whole. I know macro, meaning the large sum of the world, micro, meaning your own communities. And I know that group economics can take us extremely far. And so I don't want to just have a tax company and, sell shirts and have a podcast without, actually buying things from other people that I see are worth it. So I tried to either see people in person. I tried to support their events. I tried to buy from them. I feel like we are pioneers in here. So I do it for purpose. And as well as me being an accountant, I looked at the business model and I saw that 20% of that went to Nipsey's son, 20% of it goes to his daughter, and then 20% goes to basically a DAO that's trying to help push, decentralization, NFTs, things of that nature. And so when I saw that business model, and then also I understand art. When we went on tour, we were at Hill Harper museum that he had bought, and he showed us all this art. And so since art is changing, the revolution will be digitized. In my mind, if there was somebody that I wanted NFTs to do well, it would be Israel, because he was one of the first people here. And so I feel like if we could get that going, you never know if an NBA player or somebody like that does it. I'm doing it for the purpose, but I also have in mind that hey, there might be a price later on down the road, but that does not hurt me. The point 0.3 ETH doesn't hurt me overall. I'm not going to sacrifice, a large sum of my stuff for a possibility, if that makes sense. But I just want to explain I did it for purpose with the possibility of a price and group economics, working with somebody that I felt like was instrumental in the things that we're doing.
right. And here's the thing, Fargo, if you got a platform, holler at me, because I want artists to get their money, like I said. For real, man. Like that's really all it boils down to me, is that now these artists and these people that are making music, they ain't gotta go through all these other parties to get their bread. Like get your money direct, and if your fans are willing to pay for it, and however they willing to pay for it, it's a capitalist country. Go get your money, man. But I'm telling everybody else who's going out here to buy it, make sure you're buying it as a fan who just wants to support someone, like you do when you buy your music or whatever else. Make sure you ain't thinking about it like, oh, this is gonna go up. Here's the thing you look at. If it's for a purpose, great. But if it winds up going up in value, guess what? It's just a cherry on top. But don't go in here banking all your money. Don't be hitting it up like you do with the lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like take your time. You feel me? All right. But yeah, man, let me go and get this thing wrapped up if I can, man. Hold on. Let's get the show wrapped up because I know people on Facebook they not used to it being this long. Yeah, this is the Genesis Block. Monday, August the 23rd at 12:38. We get closing down, man. We appreciate everybody being here. Shout out to my man Fargo who runs the 4X Trader Room on Clubhouse. If you want to go check that out, make sure you check out the 4X Trader Room on Clubhouse. Those guys over there, they are very spirited. That's the word. But thank y'all for joining us today, man. I want to let y'all know, like I always do, live love, love life. If you live love, you'll love your life. And here's my special PS today. I had a young gentleman who lived up the street from me who used to come down my house when he was little all the time. He always offered me his Cheetos. He sucked the cheese off of it. And he would be like, here, Mr. Wilson, you want some Cheetos? And I'd be like, nah, I don't want some Cheetos, Berkeley. Well, last evening, he was found shot dead behind the hood store. And I just want to say shout out to his family. Like, I'm praying for y'all. Yeah, I'm in y'all's corner. And I just want to tell everybody else, man, stop the violence. Stop the violence. Like, make sure that you understand when we talking about this generational wealth, we can't have generations if we killing them up, man. So make sure we stop the violence and live, love life, man. It's hey, oh yeah, I'll let y'all, man. Good stuff. See y'all next week at 11 o'clock a.m. Ooh, man.